Let's bring in Doug Collins, former U.S. Congressman, former ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, host of the Doug Collins podcast. Doug, now we had three people under scrutiny. Should we get a special prosecutor for Mike Pence, even though one document's only been found?
No, probably not. I think one of the bigger questions here is why is the classification process. And I think, Senator Cotton made reference to this, what it would be the actual impact of these documents. But there is a problem. And we saw this when I was in Congress. We talked about it in our Judiciary Committee, that we're overclassifying. There's a lot of stuff out there, like background documents. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some probably sensitive stuff in there, but did it rise to the level of a national security risk? This is becoming a little bit out of hand. And really what started all of this, though, was how the Department of Justice, frankly, went after Donald Trump and the way they did it, the way the public way they did it. And now they're having to sort of go back and adjust to all of this that they're now finding.
Yeah, it seems to be they opened a Pandora's box, to your point. If classified documents are that prevalent and they're that loosely held around Washington, D.C., you got to apply the law equally to everyone. But there still is the question of what is in the documents, specifically when it comes to the sitting president of the United States. And that's a question, Doug, that we can't get an answer to, and the First Lady is ensuring that the question doesn't really make its way to Joe Biden. Take a look at this really quickly.
No, I got it. Thank you.
You're going to dance?
Yeah, no, you're going to come up with No, but I would love that costume. Come on up, Joe. No, you're not going to dance, believe me. We don't want to ruin the evening.
Shielding him from dancing, shielding him from reporters.
Yeah, it's really interesting here, and this has really gotten concerning because nobody, frankly, in all fairness to the First Lady, nobody elected her to answer questions for the president on issues that the press may have questions on. Now, they may not like the questions, they may not like the answers, but this is what his job is to answer these questions and to be a part of the process of people understanding. Really, what we've got to get into, again, in this classified document area is remember that we're talking about the top levels, the president's vice president. This is actually something that is prosecuted on military members, members in the department, in the government, who do this inadvertently. So this has to be something now that we really take a look at. But really, I would rather prefer Joe Biden not shielding the president from questions, because I want to know if the president can actually answer the questions.
We wanted to get your reaction to what's happening in your state. The governor, Brian Kemp of Georgia, has declared a state of emergency. He's deployed the National Guard because of all the violent protests over that proposed Atlanta police training facility, led to that shootout. What's your reaction there, and what are your residents saying?
Well, I'm proud of the governor. I'm glad he took an action. And again, we got some more issues coming out with this Memphis tape coming out tonight. But he's taken action to say, look, you can protest all you want. You can shout, you can scream, you can talk, you can do whatever you want to. But damaging property, damaging people, hurting our city is not going to happen. So I'm glad he actually took this action. And hopefully they'll see that Georgia's not a place you go. If you want a peaceful protest, fine. You want to do something else, not the place to come.
So, Doug, the thing is, evidently, if you saw those police chiefs yesterday, they say it was horrendous. Everyone's bracing for the worst with 5 cops on one guy. He ends up dead a couple of days later. So having that, if this is as bad as they say, what will the reaction be? Do you have a sense of your city, of Atlanta?
Well, I'm unfortunately not just at Atlanta. I'm afraid all over the country that people have taken this as an excuse not to voice their objection and to tragedy of what probably happened. But they've taken it a step further, saying that it's okay to damage property. It's okay to disrupt businesses and things like that. I'm scared for that we could see it all over the country with what's being said right now. But if mayors and cities take the action early, then hopefully we can prevent some violence or even more injuries coming from it.
I don't know what that action might be. I don't know what you can do prophylactically ahead of time. They're trying, even the victim's family, trying to say, hey, let's keep whatever you plan peaceful. But you have to wonder, to your point, Doug, how many vested interests out there are already planting the seeds of something much more destructive?
Well, exactly. And remember, most of the ones who were arrested last week in Georgia, most of them, I think only one was actually from Georgia. This has become a rolling platoon of folks who just want to go and create anarchy wherever they go. This is something that needs to be taken care of. And I think, if the DOJ was actually looking at something nationwide, this might be an area for them to look at.
Yeah,
all right.
And they're going to release it on a Friday night, so there could be even more protests because most people don't have to work over the weekend. Thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs. I see that football behind you. Did you go to the game?
Go Dogs, we got it. Thanks. Great to be with y'all.
Did you go to the game?
Yeah, no, I didn't get to. I went to the semifinal. I didn't get to go to the final.
Okay, well, great. Congratulations. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.